We have to look at our talents as valuable or else nobody else will.
No
So
doubt.
what does that mean? I mean, because if our talents are valuable, won't other people look at our talents if they can see the talent? Why do we have to value our own talent?
I think when you value your own talent, then you won't allow other people to exploit that talent. Okay? Now you own your talent.
So let's talk about the exploitation of talent. Give me some examples.
The African Americans have been exploited since Jackie Robinson, you know, as far as sports. And I was also talking about, that was a civil rights movement. We were able to get in, quote, the big leagues. But Jackie Robinson going into the big leagues put a lot of African American businesses out of business.
Oh, wow. Because the Negro leagues were like a chitlin circuit.
Exactly.
And there were a lot of businesses from city to city where those games were played, black businesses that thrived.
Right, on the Kansas City Monarchs, the Cleveland Browns, all these different organizations. And then when these athletes was in town, they had to stay somewhere. You know,
man.
and what really amazes me, and when you talk about resources and talent, not to take anything away from Jackie Robinson, because the sacrifice he made is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
But by him going into the league, it basically said that, you know, blacks can be good athletes, but they still need to have direction from a white man.
Almost as if we're pets, a
They-
commodity of sorts.
We're
not really-
commodity.
not fully human.
Not for, we still need direction. Then that goes when you know who you are. And it's like the con, and I always go back to that about talent resource. They're telling you who you are. So if you took responsibility and took ownership of your talent, the whites should have been trying to get in the Negro League. That's where the best talent was.
Ooh, this is deep.
You understand what I'm saying? Because if they really wanted to really do something to elevate the black man, they would have merged with some of the successful black teams. The Kansas City Monarchs was successful. They was a profitable business. They could have merged them into the big leagues because they was filling the black stadiums.
Yeah, I mean, big time. That's interesting what you said, though,
yeah,
how
no
the
doubt.
white players should have been trying to get in the Negro League because they were better.
They were better. But one thing that when you talk about going back to knowing your talents, if the Kansas City Monarchs would have merged into the whole team, that means the owners, the managers, the coaches. So if the Kansas City Monarchs would have won the World Series, that would have showed that blacks are not just great athletes, they are good managers, they're good business owners, but that's not the image that they want to send to white America, and they didn't want to send that to us.
Ooh, wow, they didn't want to send that to us because then we will have become empowered.
And that goes back to what you asked me earlier. It's about owning, and you can say that, hey, I don't have to sell out to you because I own who I am. I'm investing who I am.
Oh, man.
You know, so that's why it's so important to know who you are. I heard this guy about a couple of weeks ago. He was saying that you have Africans standing on gold but drinking dirty water. They sitting on some of the most valuable land in the world, some of the richest resources, but they're still drinking dirty water because they don't own their talent, they don't own their resources. Somebody else is telling them who they are.
You know,
I'm getting all excited.
No,
you know, I get excited.
You know,
Right,
and I'm glad you are because it was something else that you mentioned to me. You said that true authority comes when we release our personal will unto the hands of God. So many times we think true authority is being a boss on the job. Why does it manifest when we realize that authority comes from a higher power?
But I think everything that, you know, in the scripture it says everything that's perfect, good, and true is from God. And true authority comes from God because true authority, it's not going to try to control or manipulate it because it knows, it goes back to knowing who it is and where its power comes from. So now you're not threatened. You don't have to manipulate. You don't have to coerce someone into anything because you know where your power lies. And it comes from God. So you're not threatened by anybody.
True power doesn't have to go around boasting and telling everyone that it has true power. Because if you got to boast about having true power,
You don't have it. You don't have it.